Hi little skeletons, it is Disney Queen Skelly here. So I wanted to discuss something a bit more serious with you guys today. And this is kind of the last thing I have to discuss in terms of my mental health. But it's not really my mental health, it's more my physical health. So I told you guys that I was bullied, like in my mental health video, I told you guys that I was bullied like a lot when I was younger. Like I was bullied basically from the age of like 6 to the age of, oh my god, 21. Like, it lasted freaking 15 years. Like, that's absolutely nuts. But one of the things that came with the bullying was a very cleverly disguised eating disorder. When I was 10, I was told by my bully at the time that I wasn't exactly pretty. I told you guys that. I told you that she told me that I needed to do my hair different, my makeup different, I needed to dress differently, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm 10. Like, back then it really hurt, but like nowadays I'm thinking, I was 10 years old, like, what does that really matter? Like, you're not trying to impress anybody at 10 years old, but back then it hurt because we were constantly like walking like trails around the neighborhood and around the city, and we would constantly walk to like the gym that was nearby, and we would work out. Like, we would walk and run like literally 5 days a week, if not just on weekends. We were pretty active kids. But that's kind of when the whole thing really started. I stopped like snacking a lot as a kid, and I just ate like 3 meals a day like I was supposed to. And then it got like really bad once I hit middle school. Like, my stomach shrank a lot, and it didn't exactly help that I wasn't like trying to make it grow a bit more. So when I was 13, that's when I was like at my lowest point, and I discovered The Nightmare Before Christmas thanks to a family member of mine. And that's kind of where the whole love of it came from, because when I noticed Jack was literally like hurting himself, trying to change himself, I didn't want to do the same to myself, so I tried to get better. And it worked for 2 years until I met an ex of mine. He basically he made these small comments like, oh, you look really good today, your figure looks really good today, but it would only be on specific days. And I would notice that it was the days where I would like skip breakfast, and I would like maybe have something small from the cafeteria line at lunch, and it's like, okay, well, clearly there's a pattern here. And then like my insecurities and my anxiety started to kick in, because he was also a very adamant mental abuser. It kind of just started back up again. I would only really ever eat like 2 taquitos for breakfast, and then like I'd skip lunch, and then I would go home and like binge on dinner. Like, I would eat like so much at dinner, and it was not healthy. And then after that, it's like I tried to confess in a couple of friends that this was going on, and they went to the high school counselor, and thankfully the high school counselor didn't tell my mom, but I was able to confide in one of my family members about this, which made me feel really good because she really understood. And that's why, like, to this day, she's one of the family members I'm like really close to. She's on my mom's side of the family, actually. She's one of my mom's sisters. She was able to like talk me down and to help me like realize like, hey, this isn't good for you. And it never really like clicked until I turned 17. And then once I got out of that toxic relationship, that's when things finally started to get better for me. And I always dubbed January of 2015 the year that I officially got better. So as of time of recording, May 1st, 2021, it's been 6 years now, which I'm very proud of myself for, not gonna lie. Well, obviously not gonna lie, like, I am really proud of myself, but here's where the problem comes in. Once I hit college, I really dove into eating. Like, I would get there early in the morning, I'd get a bagel, like an onion bagel, and then I'd get like a coffee, and then I would get like a burger and fries for lunch. But at the same time, I worked a job where I was running around constantly, so the weight was keeping off, but I was still eating properly. Like, I was able to finally hold things down that were once delicious to me, and you know, it was a really good feeling. So once I quit that job the November, basically before I hit my year mark. I quit that November, and then I ended up working at the mall, and that's when I began my sit-down job. And the job was basically working at a vegan candy store at my local mall. And again, like, we would just be sitting down all day. Like, we wouldn't do much other than get up to, like, restock things. And then, like, it was so funny because, like, I'd restock things, and then you'd be like, you don't need to restock those. And I'm like, okay, fine then. So I would, like, kind of clean up a little bit, and he's like, why aren't you restocking? And I'm like, you're kidding me. You just told me not to restock, and now you're telling me to restock, even though I'm like, and I would always close. So I'd clean the entire shop. I'd clean the shelves. I'd clean the glass. I would mop the floor. I would vacuum the floor. I would clean the dishes. I did all of it. And I even got us our A+ rating from the health department. Like, seriously. So with that, I continued to eat like I was still losing weight. Like, I still had a fast metabolism. And that wasn't the case. I ended up gaining 60 pounds between the ages of 19 and 23. And it really hit me hard one day because this was still back to when I was getting back together with hubby. I was still not good mentally because I had just come off of a very abusive 2-year relationship. And I had basically, when I knew I was gaining the weight, because family members wouldn't tell me to my face. No, they told me through my mother, who told me to my face. And I'm thinking, why can't you guys just approach me? Because if they had approached me, this would have been a problem that would have been solved a long time ago. So there was one day, like, it just really pissed me off because it's like, why aren't you telling me this to my face? Like, a lot of my issues, like, regarding, like, people not coming to me and me not being able to mentally handle things, I feel like is a part of, like, you guys don't come to me. Like, you guys think I'm this fragile China doll to where you can't come to me and tell me things. I will flat out tell you if I can't handle something right now. If it's a brutal truth, like I'm gaining weight and it's not healthy looking, then tell me. Because around the time that my mother had told me that people thought I was gaining weight, I was 115 pounds. Which, it's funny because people had said I started gaining weight and they were concerned. But now that I'm 154 pounds, people are like, you know what a healthy weight for you would be? Between 110 and 115. Great. I was there about freaking 4 years ago, and you're telling me that would have been a better weight than I am now? What kind of hypocrites are you? Just tell me, like, hey, Mandy, you're starting to look a lot more healthy now. You know, I see that you've put on some weight, but you're looking really good. This was out of concern that I went to 115 pounds. And I was getting told through other people, like, not to my face, by family members. I was getting told through my mother. And then it spiraled from there because I was trying to look for the quick fix to lose weight, because at that point I had found my first stretch mark that I had ever received. I had a mental breakdown and hubby was there for it. I tried getting on diet pills. Like, even my mom was recommending me diet pills. Then eventually it was like, okay, now they're insulting what I eat, because they're like, well, you know that gaining weight is like 90%, it's like 80% diet. It's like, I get that. I really do. But now I feel like I can't stop myself sometimes from eating, especially when I get near my cycle, because that's when I'm like really craving food, and I'm not exactly craving the best food. Nowadays, it's not so bad. I don't eat out except for like once a week if I can help it. Hubby and I work out 5 days a week, if we, like, at minimum 4 days a week, at max 5 days a week. We try. Now I'm at 154 pounds. I literally still have people telling me that where the fat is, and it's like, you need to stop. Telling me, like, the other day, I was eating dinner with my family, and I was telling my mom how I need to stop working out my legs, because my legs are the most muscular part of my body, and it doesn't exactly help that my hips are a little too big, which I know I need to tone those. Like, basically, the only thing I need to do with my legs, my hips, and my ass is tone. That's it. And it didn't help that when I was saying this, my dad was like, well, you do realize you still need to work out to lose the fat. And I'm sitting here thinking, I have no fat in my thighs. I have no fat in my calves. The only place I even have a little teensy bit of fat is right underneath the crease of my ass. That's it. And it's such a minuscule amount that I can bulk that up in probably a week. But it does not help when people look at you and say, you're fat. You need to lose weight. I get it. I know I need to. The sciatica was like one of the final nails in the coffin to where I was like, I cannot be this weight anymore. Like, it's so unhealthy to the point where, like, my physical health is at stake. And it, like, the sciatica, when it happened, it sucked. Like, I couldn't get out of bed. I had to have help moving around. It was like someone was, like, pulling at the back, like, at my back, at my tailbone. It was like someone was, like, not pulling, but, like, pushing it in. And it hurt like a son of a gun. So when I went to go get it checked out, the first doctor I saw was such an idiot. He goes, oh, it could be ovarian cysts. So I had to go get an ultrasound done, and it wasn't ovarian cysts, thank God, but it was sciatica. And my dad's like, well, you know who gets sciatica, right? I was like, who? He goes, overweight people and women who are pregnant. It's like, great. If there wasn't enough of a sign for me to lose weight, the fact that my own father was making comments like that stung. Like, it was in such a tone that it literally aggravated me to no end. Sorry if I'm getting a little heated. This is like a subject that is like super sensitive for me. Bottom line is, I know I need to lose weight. I know I'm not at a healthy weight right now. I'm 154 pounds the last time I weighed myself, and it's not a healthy weight for me to be. My goal is to get back down to 105 to 110, and I know that's going to take some time, and that's fine. I'm patient. I have the patience to get there. It just doesn't help when people think that those passive-aggressive, like, signals are apparently working better than encouragement. It's not the same. Like, my mom was proud of me for how strong my legs are. She just pointed out where the one place I need to work on it is. And that's fine. That's the kind of encouragement I need. I don't need that passive-aggressive tone of, oh, well, you know why this is happening. It's 'cause you're fat. It's 'cause you're obese. Well, not obese, but because you're big. It's just so heartbreaking to hear that stuff because, like, you want the encouragement. I want the encouragement to do better and to get better, but the only person that's encouraging me right now other than hubby is Harley baby. Those are the only two people who I feel have the most encouraging tones when I do things. I told my mom, I was like, Mom, working out for an hour isn't enough for me anymore. I don't get sore anymore. I have to amp it up. And she goes, hey, good for you. That's amazing. And Harley baby said the same thing. Hubby called me a show off, but it was like in a supporting tone, if that makes any sense. Like, he was like, show off, but he didn't mean it like that. So this is not only me just discussing my weight and how bad it got, but this is also me telling you guys, and I probably should have put a huge trigger warning before this video, but I just got super heated. I'm so sorry if I triggered any of you. That was not my intent. Weight is just a very sensitive subject for me, and then once I get going, I just feel like I cannot stop. So I'm very sorry. But I do want to let you guys know, those of you who are going through something like this, whether it be an eating disorder or you're trying to lose weight and it's just not working, I promise you it does get better. It took me 7 years to get over my problem, and then I've been clean for 6 years. Not only that, I feel like even though it's 40 pounds that I have to lose, well, no, 44. It's 44 pounds that I have to lose. I know I can do it. Even if it's just a pound a week, that's fine. A pound a week is better than nothing. And I know at some point I'm probably going to plateau, but I just had to keep pushing through it. And those of you who are doing the same thing, you need to push through it. It's going to suck. It's going to be hard. And there's going to be days where you really want to quit. Trust me, there are days I want to quit too. There are days I just want to eat my feelings and just quit and let whatever happen happen. But I have a family to think about. I have a future family to think about. Especially because in the next 2 years, I want my own child. And I don't want to be that type of person where their son or daughter sees them as this person who just completely gives up on life just because it's not going as quickly as they want it to. It's not as easy as they expect it to be. Because that's not how it is. That's not how life is at all, especially when it comes to losing weight. Losing weight and being able to overcome an eating disorder is one of the hardest things I've ever had to go through, and I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy. So those of you who are going through this kind of stuff, please always know that there is someone out there, and if there isn't anyone in your life who you feel feels this way, I do. And that may not mean a lot because I'm just a person on your screen talking into a mic and looking into a camera. But at least know that I'm rooting for you. I'm cheering you on. Because it's a hard process to go through, and I feel like everyone needs at least one person to cheer them on. So I am cheering you on. All of you who are conquering these kinds of things, and even if it's not an eating disorder, if it's whatever disorder you're going through, whatever challenges you're facing, I am one of your supporters. Just know that. I am rooting for all of you to get better mentally, physically, for you, not only yourself, but for your life ahead of you, because you guys have so much potential in your life, whether you know it or not, you do. And I know this firsthand because I felt like I had no potential at all. I felt like my life was just going to go down the shitter, but it hasn't. My life has gotten so much better, especially since I started therapy. It's been amazing. I haven't felt the need to explode anymore. I haven't felt like, not to say I can't still light my fuse, because I could, but I haven't felt the need to get angry unless I'm like super hormonal because of my time in the month. That's just unavoidable. But anyways, long rant over. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is something I had been meaning to discuss for a very long time, and I am so glad I was able to discuss it like I was able to discuss my mental health. And if you guys have any questions or you want to DM me privately and maybe just get some advice or even just to vent, my Instagram and my Twitter are in the description box below if you need to talk about anything with me, or if you wish to just vent to me, or if you have, or you know, if you just want somebody to talk to, go for it. I literally have all the time in the world right now. So thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, little skeletons. Stay safe, and I love you guys.